And welcome back to another third age Reforged battle. As you can see, this is still pre-patch and it's been a while. So now we can look over the armies. First we have Tuzami, or I don't know, with the Wooden Realm. A bunch of elves that come from woods. You'd think that would be surprising, but when you see them armored up like this is their very elite infantry. You know, the type of guys that you see in the films. These are the Mirkwood elves. Now remember that. If anyone plays DAC, I can understand your confusion. But these are the Mirkwood elves. As you can see, a lot of Elder Palace guards, some Hiren Bang, and Elder Palace Guard melee variant, along with some cavalry. Massive frickin' elks. I mean, they do a ton of damage. And fighting with them will be the Horse Lords of Rohan. You wouldn't think it would be a great combo, would you? But here we are. It's Helm's Deep all over again. Surprisingly. With two Marshals of the Red, 2 Royal Guard, and that's Arnor. You have some Riders of the Fold, Horse Archer variant, 3 of them. 3 Royal Guard on this flank, Helm Hammers all the way back there. 1 unit of Rohan Bodyguard, 2 Royal Guard, Rohan Nobles, and Cardland Knights who do a ton of damage. Yeah, the elves have 2 units of Elder Guard Archer variant, Elder Council, which is the exact same. Like, if you look from a distance, they do look a lot like 3 units of Heron Derf, 1 unit of Heron Band, Forest Bladesmen, Woodland Sentinels, and that. And we probably could move up a touch as well, because this battle does get underway pretty quickly, and if you're wondering how I'm doing this, hold shift and click. Anyway, back over here. We have a sound from one of the other guys over there, just some movement from Rune and Khan up against the encampment of dwarfs and Lothlorien elves. But here we have Arnor, led by Ender Frog. Rohan's led by Bhop, or whatever. And as you can see, it's 1 unit of bodyguards, Knights of Numinas, pretty standard protocol for Arnor, really. Nice corner, Arnor gatekeepers, pikemen, just really bunkering in here. Here's the spearmen for Arnor. Very dangerous, these peacekeepers with 2 HP. Battle ready Dunedain. Dismounted Arthadai Knights, which both of them will be the same in the next patch. Because all you need to do to get the Arthadai Knights is to give these guys an armor upgrade. And 1 unit of dismounted Dunedain Knights. I am constantly on the developers Discord, so I do know a few bits of information, and I'll leak some. But that's not my job, it's their job. But anyway, we have a catapult, trebuchet, and then we have the High Elves, led by Esconorin or whatever. 1 unit of Mythnol Nobles, 3 units of that is a lot of Eldorain Spearmen. 2 units of Eldorain Spearmen. 2 units of 3 units of Eldorain Swordsmen. A lot of Quindi, Sword Quindi, quite good actually. Very high skilled infantry. Wouldn't want to mess with them. Eldorain Archers. 2 units of them, I can tell because of these banners. A hidden unit of Nodor Elder Nobles, AP Archers, much like the Elder Wind, but just better at melee. Think of them like, these are the guys who have been around for centuries. Oh, don't worry about this over here. We still have 3 units of Boquindi, or 4. And that really summarizes the encampment going on here. Now we'll just take a step back from the camp of Arnor, and we'll go to the fast-moving armies of Khan and Rune. Khan being led by Charlie. That really just sounds like a kid. With a large horse army. Lots of Variag horse archers, just archers, Brotherhood of the Bow, Cataphrux, Brotherhood of the Lance. Yeah, just a lot of cav. Then we have Rune, who just makes it even look more like a blob, with 2 units of Horse Guard. I think 3 units of Horse... No, 2 units of Horse Guard, 2 units of Varag Lancers, 3 units of low-casting instrument, well, 2 and a bodyguard, and 2 nerd windblades. Very majestic looking army though, ain't it? Actually, no. This is a better shot. There's a way you can edit it. And we also have the foot version of the Condit of Rune's army over here. Much smaller. We got some Dragon's Wrath crossbowmen, 2 units of crossbows, 3 units of archers, and 2 units of infantry. So they're really going to be relying on their cav up against the dwarfs. As you can see, we have some Ironfoot crossbowmen, 2 units, 3 units of them. Some miners, we have some halberds, Ironfoot halberds, Khazad warriors. These are the guys from Moria. Very tough infantry. Like, even by dwarven standards, these guys are professionals when it comes to killing. And they're led by Ragnar Ironhide. Did I say the rune player? I am... Oh, Jesus. Right, just moving on. Lots of just Ironfoot warriors. Very professional dwarven infantry. They're not going to break anytime soon. Erebor infantry, the dwarfs from Erebor, fighting for Erebor. Think of it like these are various dwarven holds, smaller ones, bigger ones, pulling all their collective might together in one region. If you play DAG, then I suggest you try out the Orkani orcs, the dwarfs. I find them great, lore-wise. Next we have some of Neffy's units. Neffy's on a Discord, God help us all, but playing as Lothlorien. 4 units of Sylvan Heavy Spearmen. We have a Ballista. We have some Light Elven Archers. Sylvan Heavy Archers. Another Light. Another Sentinel. Another Silver Spear unit. Very dangerous Spearmen. Very light, but don't underestimate them. Yeah, that's very strange. Ah, here they are. The Galafrim Veterans. You can give some units armor upgrades, such as the Heavy Spearmen here, to look like Galafrim Veterans. But it looks like the elves have picked a very weird low-tier army. Sindar, 1 unit Sindar Archers. So, without further ado, and really, that's it. Should have just kept it to 1x speed now that I think of it. Like, honestly, this is, forgive me if my voice is a bit low, I'll automatically boost it, possibly. It's just, this fight's also fresh to me. Now what's going to be happening in the first phase of the battle here? For, you see, in the first phase of the battle, it's just moving. Lots and lots of moving. Like, there's some artillery shots that will rain in from the trebuchet, but personally I think that trebuchet is in a really bad position, because in order to use it you need your enemy to group up out here and launch an assault directly in order to use that cabo and trebuchet efficiently. However, in Tatsumi's and Behump's case, they can attack from this angle using this massive cliff edge, sort of like it's covered, and yes, they can move their artillery around, but that gives you a lot of cover to put some units behind your lines. Of course, they still have the threat of Khan, Rune, the dwarfs, and Lothlorien to deal with. As you can see, it's not really a free-for-all. It's more like team battles, and yeah. Oh, the dwarfs also had a catapult. How surprising. So the elves are really bunkering in with their dwarves. This will be a hard new box to break. So that one over there. I mean, it's really in a messed up situation. And yes, I am using a mediator to make my game look nice. So yeah, look at them sexy units. Doesn't fix the mechanics though. Does not fix the mechanics. So, I'll see you once the battle gets started, or at least, like, skirmishing? Honestly, I think this is a bad move from Rune. Like, they should just stay away from this new box. I think there was a hit in there, but nothing too amazing. That's the wrong guy. Here we are. Like, honestly, we're just seeing, like, catapult shots rain in. So, it won't really surprise me if there's like 1 or 2 guys dead. But yeah, we'll see you once the battle gets started. Oh, I was gonna pause the video there. Oh no. Oh no, poor Tatsuma. Oh, it's not really important. Elves have great morale. Doesn't matter if Rando dies 1,000 times, they'll still be here fighting to the end. So, now we wait. For the only significant event has passed us. And as predicted, I mean, this is sort of like the beginning of the skirmish phase, but I would already like to point out a few flaws. If you wish to avoid Tatsuma's death in the early stages of the battle before glorious hand-to-hand combat begins, do the following. Use these sand dunes. You see how B-Hump has his men arrayed here? The trebuchet can't hit him. However, these archers are wide in the open, and whilst a Arnorian night charge might check that, Tatsuma's wisely pulling back his cavalry. Oh, and if you're thinking that Khan and Rune are up to something amazing, not much. They're still, like, it's an all-cavalry army, and the only people moving are the elves and the Rohan. Mind you, a cavalry fight would be awesome. It's just, you know, it's in a very awkward situation, especially when you form boxes like this. Even in loose formation, a trebuchet will still kill a lot of men. However, we do have a Arnorian cavalry charge from the bodyguards coming into Herodban. They appear to be trying to skirt out of the way, but a few will be caught. But the arrow fire will just... It will kill friends and foes alike. It's like a miniature version of that scene in Game of Thrones, the Battle of the Bastards. Yeah. I do have a bottle of water. So, I would say that was kind of a waste, because his cavalry was nearby to deal with it. But I can also understand the decision of Khan and Rune being halfway across the map, but then again you have to understand that it's going to take them a long time to get over here to fight the Wood Elves. Well, yeah, the Wood Elves. Elves of Lothlorien are still just camping out in a corner. I mean, really, this is all that's happening. I have no respect for people who noob box. But, you know, I mean, there's tactical benefits to noob boxing. But personally, I would have just brought a ballista and like Nephi and just pin out like trebuchets. And you know, your ballista only costs around about 800, and you can very accurately hit stuff. You see, he should put this behind the dunes as well, even though they're archers, or at least put them in the loose formation, because that's a lot of unnecessary cavalry casualties. Yeah, tongue. But it looks like we have some sort of an alliance forming up here between Arnor High Elves, Rune, and Khan. Because, you know, with the dwarfs being so inactive with their Lothlorien allies, and the only people here who have a strong enough infantry force would be Arnor and the High Elves. So maybe that is the reason why they have an agreement. But it is still unknown. And it looks like it will be another skirmish phase unless Khan does something extraordinary. Ooh. He should really not move those. Poor Tatsuma, man. I mean, I would feel sympathy, but when you tell your men to huddle together like this while you're being shot by a massive flaming ball of death, it's kind of hard to feel sorry for that level of stupidity. I mean, yeah, it'll be handy if Khan charges. Oh, maybe my prediction for the forecast was wrong. Ah, so many micros mistakes. Appears my prediction was wrong. We have Khan actually preparing to attack the Wood Elves. Well, the Elves and Arnor. Wouldn't suggest that move either, to be quite frank. Just because of the stakes. However, they could attack Nefi's position, which doesn't have stakes. And yeah, there may be dwarfs with halberds, but they're not all across the line, are they? Nah. Crossbows would do a number on you. They should have just picked the better map to avoid this though. Oh. Now this is a funny situation. So Charlie formed up ranks and is now being absolutely obliterated by the High Elves and Arnor, but insists upon charging Tatsuma's position. Why? Why would he do this? Because his cavalry would be so much better later in the battle, after the enemies used up their infantry. Like, even keeping one Brotherhood of the Lance unit in this patch alive? That'd be awesome. But as you can see, Brotherhood of the Lance, they do not joke, even with the elite Elder Royal Guard. The Royal Guard will get some revenge, but this will be a very bloody battle. Just a lot of cavalry charges, B-Hump getting some good charges on the Variag Horse Archers, but will soon be countered by Rune's arrival. Of course, these Rohan Noble being very powerful, but the Kondish or Runic Cav cannot be underestimated, especially when their heavily elites are going around. Of course, allow me to sneeze. Sorry, I sneeze a lot. Of course, these stakes will buy some time, but alas, the enemy's superior number in cavalry will be the downfall, with the Variag Cataphracts just, quite literally, munching their way through these lightly armored riders. Like, horse archers aren't meant to be this close in combat. The elves are doing what they can, and the Royal Guard are assisting in any way, shape, or form. Meanwhile, the two players who camp are just quite happily sitting by, relaxing. The dwarfs even launching an assault on the runic position up here. I mean, why? Why would Rune leave their men up here? This is just a waste of money, times, and troops. And yeah, you'll kill some of Nefi's silver spearmen, but let's be honest here. It's the dwarfs and the really high-tier elven archers that will be your main concern. Not really about to boast about. But maybe. Maybe. If I take it from their perspective, them screenshots. I know every time that does it kind of pauses the video, so there might be a jump. Anyway, back over to the cavalry engagement. As kind of oh yeah, I forgot they had Royal Elder Cav here. So it might look like they're losing on this side because Rohan's Cav, you need to psycho charge it. And they were outnumbered 2-1 up against some of the best Cav in the game. Don't get me wrong, when two Cav factions rush you even as Rohan, you'll still struggle. And I played against some of the best Rohirrim players. But the elves are still holding. Tatsuma's cavalry really showing off that elven horse might, or deer power. But as you can see, despite casualties taken, the High Elves and Arnor are still looking very strong. Very strong indeed. And it's not really helping that the elves are sort of like forming up into these formations, and this trebuchet is just firing willy-nilly. As you can see, the destruction over here is massive. Back over on this side, however, we see that the dwarfs are being slowed down by these Dragon Wrath units. Although these Dragon Wraths cross should not be engaged in melee. Instead, I would sacrifice one of these units to save that Dragon's Wrath crossbow unit to break up this new box. But they won't die easily, these Dragon's Guildsmen. They're far superior to any of these dwarves. Even the Camus Chosen will munch a few up. So, if Ragnar really wanted to, he should have gotten Neffy's archers to shoot in first. Oh, and we already have a player admitting defeat. Definitely wasn't Khan and Rune. No, probably Khan, actually. Definitely Khan. We don't even see any Khandish infantry in this battle. What's this here? Is that the Brotherhood of... Oh no, this is Ender Frog's general? Riding out into the middle of the field. A potential alliance, maybe? Like, I don't know, there's not any real alliances. You need to be in a voice chat to truly understand it at the time, but this is some madness. Like, we have some AP archers here not being used, and despite Ender Frogs, it's sort of like attacks. This battle's really gone in the way of the elves and Rohan. Rohan's infantry still staying alive, but Rohan's cavalry being depleted. And of course, Rune, it looks like there might be some alliance between the two noob boxes. The Dragon's Wrath Guildsman crossbows still fighting hammering anvil style, but they must be waiting on that cav showing up to save them, because that's the only real way they'll answer to these crossbows effectively. I'd even be tempted to just run over these units and hit the crossbows, even if that means going into firing range of the other elves. You gotta do something. Although, now you know Camus Dragon Knights. They might be charged by the Knights of Anonymous. Might be. Forgive me if I'm not enthusiastic. I mean, Tatsuma sent me in. This game was titled Great Replay, but all I'm seeing is two new boxes. Oh, we do have a cavalry charge indeed from Rune's General. And how's that going here? Ah, yes, the Runish Hours are returning fire onto these Ironfoot crossbowmen, and they are well armored, but they'll still go down. They'll still go down eventually. But let's catch his cavalry fight. Appears like Arnor's totally caught unaware in this. Not good. I don't know. It's not a good engagement for the Dragon Knights. They're tired. Some of them have died. They didn't really get a good charge off. Like, yeah, they'll drop like what? 1, 2? 2 for the price of none? That's a fair exchange rate. No, they did lose one guy for 2. So it appears that the Khanish and Runic alliance has fallen apart, leading to these 2 noob boxes remaining. Of course, we still have the wild card of Tetsuma and his ally, B-Hump? I don't know. Remaining alive in the almighty trebuchet used up. So, of course, it is now down to another stage of skirmishing. Oh boy. People love their skirmishes here. The only thing of interest is either this cavalry fight, which is so ridiculously one-sided, or this infantry fight that's shouldn't even be happening anymore. Like, the Camus Dragon's Wrath don't need to be there. They can retreat. And these Camus Chosen, they need to be pulled back behind this hill to avoid getting hit by that catapult. And these crossbows, who... what are they shooting at? Shooting over and at these crossbowmen, who the elves could easily hit. So he's wasting his AP ammo on some lightly armored buggers. Of course, those lightly armored buggers are killing his own airborne infantry. And now it appears Rohan is riding in to save Rune? Even sneaking in the kill that rune was working so hard towards. Ooh, that might change up things. If they weren't in the range of so many god-forsaken high elves. The archer battle here still ongoing. Not really any major shocking results. Elves getting massacred by just a new box of archers. Oh, and the Rohan nobles are now seeking blood. A lot of the Rohirrim, riders of the Fold, cavalry, now chasing down these knights of Numenas who are attempting to flee, allowing the runic cav to go free. I would even suggest using this runic cav to hit this little bunched up unit of crossbowmen to silence them. Because, yeah, a lot of friendly fire here as well from the crossbowmen providing overwatch? Am I allowed to use that word? Yes I am. So rune depleted, but not out of the fight. Rohan still very much alive, cavalry's beaten up, but the infantry looking so strong, and the elves under Tetsuma, who I will only name because that name comes better to me than B-Hump, still alive, looking well, getting an okay note from their doctor, whilst Arnor and, well, the two new boxes, obviously healthy because they didn't do anything. So, looks like we have still just this very deadlock case here. No support from the elves whatsoever. And they could commit to this engagement and kill them, even if they don't have any cavalry. They just shoot down the cavalry with archers. Arnor didn't bring that much cavalry, and one unit that did bring, well, both of them at this point are dead. High elves didn't bring cavalry, and I'm pretty sure that trebuchet is running low on ammo. Running pretty low. So, quite clearly, this battle's not even necessarily done yet. What's that cavalry here? No infantry intervened either. That might have been where the Carlin Knights and Rohan Nobles were at. Probably. All light cavalry dead. So yeah, this was where the Rohan Nobles were. Did a good job though. Definitely did a good job. Of course, this battle still ongoing. Like, the dwarves just, like, they could have done this job so much quicker if they brought everything together. With the high elves, shoot down the archers. You'd be done quickly enough to reform a new box before Rohan or Arnor even steps towards ya. But it looks like we've entered another quiet state of the game where some poor troll Dunedain Slayers are just being thrown. Yeah. This hurts my eyes to see. It really does. Oh, come on, that's just a waste of ammunition. Like, I like skirmish fights. I like seeing arrows fire through the air. But I don't like it when people just send up pointless fights like that. Archers are there to kill the enemies you don't want to face in melee, like Dragon's Wrath units and that. Not to waste their lives and arrows on some cheapskate. Yeah, I reckon the dwarves and elves should have just ganged up and dealt with this runish little outpost. But now they've just lost so much. Like, the only support that we've seen from the elves was 2 units of silver spearmen. And I mean, yep, the Dragon's Wrath crossbowmen are still alive. Even with 10 men left in a unit, they are still dangerous. But at this point, I would just suggest to Rune pull back behind a hill and just wait it out. If the elves and dwarfs come, try and run away, but don't expect to get away. And thus we have entered another skirmish phase. I will get back to you when something interesting happens. Not that much further into the battle, funnily enough. And, looks like there's some sort of alliance going on here. Maybe between Rohan and Rune? It's hard to say. Because we are seeing movement from, like, you can see these dust clouds are, like, they're cavalry, right? The Rohan nobles, Cardinal knights. But Rohan's infantry, still standing very still. So maybe, just maybe, that Rune understands it's losing. And the only thing that Rune can target effectively would be this. Of course, this is just terrible. Like, arrows shooting in, all these elven arrows now being used, when they could have been used earlier to save all these people's lives. And Rohan now jittering? Yeah, jittering up on the border. There's definitely some sort of cohesion going on here that Nephi isn't realizing, but Nephi just wasting every arrow he can on one unit at a time. And now it's really just game over for the Rune player, and he's making one last ditch effort, which does look pretty cool. But you gotta realize at some point in your life, just throw in the towel. Like, this is really boring. Not even considering the side of the field of battle, it's a siege. Starve them of enjoyment. Appears that the Runish archers have ran out of ammo. So this might be just a last ditch desperate attempt to get some kills. A lot of room on this side. Oh. And the elven archers even retreating in front of the Runish onslaught. Even use these guys' ammo if they had it. Oh, I see. So Rohan allied with the dwarfs and Lothlorien to clean up this side. Interesting. Very interesting. Some bad plays being made though. Like, over here hacks me quite a lot because not only is it in my recent memory, but this could have been done so much more effectively for so fewer casualties. But they just didn't, you know? Apparently we do have some more archers of Arnor being pushed up. Oh wait, these are Boquindi. You know, after you lose your Dunedain and Troll Slayers, two of your most best archer units. Now the Boquindi just launching an assault. These guys should have been in first, not the Troll Slayers and Dunedain bodyguard, who I believe may have revealed themselves. And now just this elven elk cavalry, the King's Royal Guard, coming in to punish them. Oh. Never mind. Apparently they pulled off at the last minute, then charged in again, so the Boquindi are completely unaffected. Of course, these are using up valuable arrow shots that could be used elsewhere on these lightly armored Boquindi, or these heavily armored elites. That's just my opinion. Over here, the dwarfs led by Ragnar Ironhide have successfully won against I Am Making Mankind guy? Don't care. And now Rohan just seemingly quite gradually taking these shots in from the last remaining runic units. What remains of the Dragon's Wrath Guildsmen just... Oh wait, these are crossbowmen. This is where you should have used their ammo. Just here. Burn a hole through it. Don't know where you wasted their ammo, but oh, it would have been glorious if you just shoot over and burn everything. Sorry, bit of pyromaniac. Anyway, the runic assaults kind of winding down. What's this? Is that another unit of frickin' archers? No, this is proper infantry by Enderfrog. Legitimately, they have gotten so bored in their noob box that they are now actively coming out. But this is such a terrible idea. The Woodland Realm has tons of better archers than you. Your armors, for the most part, are lightly armored. Even they wear shirts. That's how bad it is. And yet, they still insist on advancing in piecemeal. In the meantime, Tatsumi's ally, B-Hump, successfully pulls back with his Rohan units. Because now, the elves and dwarfs are completely unharassed, have a lot of men left, and these two sides have agreed to batter each other down and whittle them for the right to engage them. The most strategically dumb maneuver I've seen in a game so far, but this game has surprised me with many things. I'm just waiting for cavalry to run over stakes at this point. Of course, I have it on 2x speed to speed everything up. Like, this is just really that bad. Honestly, Arnor moving out, getting tired of their own noob box. The cavalry charges from Rohan will now punish him. Yes, Troll Slayers will do a lot of damage on the charge to anything, but the cavalry will hit him first. Just remember that. The Woodland Realm, they did take casualties, but their force is still very much in the game. Still very strong and not to be underestimated. They may have used up their ammo, but they still have massive two-handed swords, as you may have just seen, that will cleave through you quicker than I can say spaghetti. I don't know how long it takes to mathematically cleave for a human body, but that's my general assumption. Anyway, Nephi and Ragnar Ironhide's dwarfs completely unmolested. Of course, I will not stop pointing this out, of this botched assault up here. Legitimately, one of the worst assaults I've ever seen in Med 2 so far. Sending units piecemeal. You had all this to work with, and just insist on going one way, and your entire army watches as your expeditionary force outside gets massacred. But anyway, back over here, the Rohan is now arriving, with some of the greatest timing on Earth. Cardinal Knights charging into some godforsaken boat, Sword Quindy. Even if you're Arnor Peacekeepers, you won't win against Cardinal Knights that do that. Cardinal Knights who charge like that will annihilate you. Combined with what few elves they have left, the Herde de Durf, who are some very well trained and well armored elves, will hold this line for a while. And of course, you have to do this, Arnor and High Elves, whilst most of your archers stay in the back. These valuable archers who could help you. You even have spearmen, swordsmen, and yet you stay in the back. Personally, I like taking the mick out people who do things like this. If I didn't have to make a quota for my YouTube videos, like one replay a week, then this video would have not gone on. Probably not. If somebody else was to hand something into my account, ravenking60@gmail.com, which is down below. But anyway, B-Hump very wisely moving up his forces roundabout now, you know. Shield Maiden. Oh yeah, I left out the Shield Maidens. They throw axes. And they're women. It's like every internet nerd's dream. It's a playable female character. Like a boobs, though. I mean, they throw axes, so that kind of makes up for it. And, you know, I mean, it's one of those things. Axes are boobs. That's the choice you have to make. Yeah, you can see how bored I've become with this. Like, there's literally no, like, Tatsumi and B-Hump are making good tactical decisions. But that's because their enemy is so weak. Like, strategically, this archer fight was bad. You move up the Boquindi, move up the Enderwind archers. Don't keep your army in reserve like this. What is the point of this when you've sent up half your army outside to die? You know your enemy has better cavalry. You know there's a third force slowly advancing up, and you insist upon killing this guy. Like, even Rune and Khan weakened them. But even so, the fact that they didn't bring any good amount of cav, and the shield maidens are going to be wasted. To be honest, you could just engage. Oh. Yeah. These Arnor Gatekeepers, despite having pikes and 2 HP in this patch, I think, they'll still lose to these dismounted Royal Guard if the Royal Guard just push through. Yeah, those... oh, yeah. That's where those axes should be aiming. Right on those heavily armored Arthedain and the Peacekeepers. Despite, you know, having a shield, you think they would catch the axe, but no. Axe goes straight for the shield. You really got to talk to those people in China about their shield qualities, you know? And of course we have Nephi and Ragnar just slowly advancing up, allowing this fight to wind down. Of course, there might be good reason why this could all just be an elaborate ruse by both sides to appear weakened, but then they'll pull off at the last second and engage the dwarfs and Lothlorien elves. There's hope. Not a lot of hope, but there's hope. Last few of the Hirden Bang just firing back as the Elder went away heavily armed archers. Do you know we have Knights of Innuminas, Swordsman, Mithlon, Catapult, Trebuchet? No, 2 units of Sindar Blade Masters now being committed. You know, this fight could have went a lot better. And then you realize that Nephi and Ragnar, the dwarfs and Lothlorien, have a massive army that hasn't seen battle much. And you know, slowly advancing. Just tiptoeing. Tiptoeing. You know, like you still have your cavalry. They still have trebuchet shots, which I don't think they should be using in this anymore. I say that, then this happens, but they shouldn't be because there's this massive fresh threat here. Instead, I would use the catapult. And Rohan's general now died. That's 2 generals to a trebuchet. That's pretty good, actually, for trebuchet exchange rate. Good on you, Arnor. Good on you. As you can see, we just have this very awkward situation where now, wow, dismounted Arthedain knights fleeing. That's impressive. That means they got their asses whooped badly. Even shield maidens running down these Arnor gate guards. I mean, you'd think they would ally up using both of their elites and what left of their forces to team up on the fresh dwarfs in Lothlorien. But, you know, they don't. Lothlorien's quite happy. The dwarfs can't really sprint that far. They may be natural sprinters, but they're not endurance runners. I mean, you seen the armor they wear? Way too heavy. But of course, the shield maiden's still throwing in what axe is left. But both sides should be trying to use these flanks, which is something that Escagalonod is using these flanks to go around. Enderflog guarding his flanks, but to be honest, he doesn't really have... there it is. There's the flanking that you need. And now it's just going to be a shield wall battle, and this is where the fighting will get bloody. And this is where there are no battle lines. And it's messy. Like the shield wall and the Knights of Innuminas initially pushing back, the combined force of the Earls, of the Marshals of the Red, and others. Another dangerously good catapult shot over there, eliminating a good chunk of shield maidens. And of course, what left of the elves and that being committed. But this trebuchet shouldn't be firing here. Rohan and the elves still have a huge number of cavalrymen. And look at this, the elves and the dwarves now advancing. But there's a slight problem to this. If the cavalry was smart enough, go around, boop, 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 boop. Of course, you'd still have to deal with hundreds of arrow fire, but that's not my problem. I'm just commenting on your tactics and enjoying the sight of this massive shield wall engagement that I've been waiting for so long to happen. Really, we see that Escanor really does know his mechanics when he's using shield wall to push through with that low elven mass. It won't get much done, but it'll help. Sindar Blade Masters and that Trebuchet shot really backfiring on some areas. Kind of makes that wall weak when, you know, oh, is that one ready? No, that's quite a few about ready doing a dying fleeing. And the cavalry now going into these Elder Wayne archers, along with those dismounted Royal Guard. So that means, you know, they should have just used up their ammo first instead of running headlong. Oh, the Helmhammers have also been committed. They'll hold this flank for a while, even against AP units like the Sindar. But the ever-looming threat from Nephi and Ragnar just slowly forming up, marching again. They're men nice and fresh as you can be in a desert environment. You know, just watching this battle unfold. That dust cloud back there looks pretty cool. I like how thick it is, especially from this distance. I mean, I would try and pick out like one guy to root for in this combat, like this Eldar Royal Guard that's just hammering away. But really, this battle will be decided soon enough. We got Cav sort of like ping-ponging between archers and infantry. What else is there? What else? It just looks like Nephi and Ragnar are gonna sit out. I mean, if you're gonna send me replays, then please keep the noob boxing down to a minimum. 2 noob boxes will be my max. And I mean, this map, you just hang out the edges for noob boxes, you know? So, just in a future side note, if you make it this far into the video, well done. No noob boxes. Although it does look like, it's hard to say, because the left and center are going well for Rohan and the Sylvan Elves. Because those Shield Maidens combined with the Marshals of the Red, Elder Royal Guard, it's like a topping to a beautiful pizza. But over here on the left, even with the Helmhammers, they're still getting pushed back. Like, yeah, those Helmhammers have consolidated themselves. But as soon as the last force arrives, and this is really concerning, they shouldn't be fighting like this. They should be joining their forces together and engaging that third force. You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend temporarily until I stab you in the back later on when we're both weakened. I know, I exaggerate a little, but to be honest, come on. Just gonna speed this up. The Elven Archers have now been committed. Apparently they're all going in, even in Elder or Royal Archers, or Royal Guard. Dwarfs and that, just reforming. Tetsuma's and Rohan's forces being absolutely annihilated. Yeah, a lot of death here. Despite Tetsuma being assaulted by 3 armies in B-Hump, practically 3, because we all know that this army is going to assault, and it looks like this combat is edging in their favor, because Rohan's Helmhammers still holding on. They'll get what kills they can. Buy time for this. No. The addition of those, it's hard to tell. But it looks like the High Elves might have this in if Tetsuma's guard don't rout them somehow. Tatsuma now just, peeling back units. That's rather good strategy. So these guys can now get into combat, use their axes against these weakened units. Left flank being slowly rolled up. And, we still have the Nephi and Ragnar alliance, the dwarfs and Lothlorien elves, just sitting outside. So it looks like the right flank, as predicted, has fallen to Rohan, but the left flank has fallen to the Sindar Blade Masters. A bad situation for all. Tatsuma's forces are now arriving to help the swap over? It is literally a swap over. Poor shield maidens getting slaughtered. Axes over boobs any day. Axes over boobs. And that'll be the title of this video. Those shield maidens did make up for their cost though. Even if they just killed a few elves. Elves are so expensive, but they're so good. And now just this really anticlimactic ending, to be honest. Like, oh look, dragon slayers that have been bloodied. Yeah, they must have been shot a few times. Just, Nephi and Ragnar, boo. Boo. I normally don't say that, but just an absolute crap move. Just sitting back here. How does this equal to an interesting replay? But, maybe after you guys view it, you'll go and view one of my better ones. Ones that have, like, a guy fighting another guy with a spoon to the death. No noob boxes. No noob boxes. But it was nonetheless a good replay. Congrats to Tatsuma for holding out against this. There was some things that could have been done better, but I would give him a C+. And that's nice. It's not bad, but you pass. I recognize that. Are they using fire arrows? Fire arrows? Alright, so that's Tatsuma's forces are now gone, dead, out of the game. And now it's really just these. They had ammo left, but they didn't use it. Just this really anticlimactic ending, lots of arrows firing in. Elves don't take arrows that well. The Elder Enway Spearmen will, because they're the best of the best. But, yeah. And once again, I'd much rather have the job done efficiently than this. This is sloppy, sending in one unit against even a belittled and beleaguered force. Keep your archers out, shoot them down, then go in. That's my advice. Never take a chance. If you're going to defeat your enemy, defeat them utterly. Defeat them without mercy. These last Nodor are going to try and put up a last stand, but I don't think they can even form formation with this much arrow fire. Glafram vets running in. And yeah, even in my Nodor elders, they won't get many kills. Not against Glaf vets. Poor Haldir having the time of his life. Because Haldir ended up going to the Deserts of Khan one day. He's an elf, he's lived long, probably seen it. But yeah. This battle was just really over. So, yeah. The last person to join the battle always wins, but of course, Tatsuma really done himself proud. His ally done well. Could have seen more from these two. Khan and Rune just bad army comps for the situation they were in. In a field battle, their army comps would have worked wonders. That small infantry force, combined with all that cav, the maneuverability of it, it's too great. It's too great. But Ragnar, Nephi, Underfrog, and Escanord? Nah. Noob boxes. Noob boxes. Escanord got a lot of kills. Yes, I will say that. But he only got a lot of kills because Khan and Rune sacrificed a lot of their men, and he didn't use his archers properly. So he might have even had enough men to stop this battle ending so quickly. It was a good battle, though, despite noob boxes. Very slow. So don't forget to comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you next time.